Hi, it's T. Michelle Birdsong, Daughter of the Sun. I'll tell you about a video that I found interesting. CPAC 2020, the coup Spygate at the American Conservative Channel. And it's a discussion between Devin Nunes and Dan Bongino. Now, the video that I'm commenting about is called Life, Liberty, and Levin, March 1st, 2020. Breaking, Fox News. Charlie Kirk, author, The MAGA Doctrine. Charlie Kirk is the founder and president of Turning Point USA, and it's at the Big Macho channel. So I'll just read some of the notes I took. Private property is the manifestation of your physical and intellectual labor. The socialist, communist, Marxist, Bernie Sanders, does not think you have a right to your private property. John Locke said, everything you think, everything you say, everything you invest in is your private property. He believed that our rights came from God, not from government. Does Bernie Sanders even believe in God? There's no such thing as a democratic socialist. You're either a Marxist socialist, or you're not. Charlie says, liberty means we have natural rights from our own Creator. We have a right to own to our own consciousness, the right to your decisions, the right to make good decisions and bad decisions. Very few societies in human history even allow citizens to have liberty. The norm was the absence of liberty. The norm was tyranny. The norm was a permanent serf class and a despot dictator or ruler exploiting the citizenry. The people dying from some war by the age of 30 or 35. That was the norm. The year 1776 was so important, not just because of the Declaration of Independence, but also because of The Wealth of Nations, written by Adam Smith. He did not invent capitalism, he observed it. One could say he almost discovered it. Adam Smith was asking certain questions. Why are certain countries richer than others? His book is not The Wealth of Nations. It's an inquiry into the cause of the wealth of nations. Smith concluded that wealth came about when there was liberty, when people were allowed to make choices. People's lives got better. The problem with liberty is liberty breeds apathy. Apathy definition, noun, meaning lack of interest, concern, or enthusiasm. Widespread apathy among students. Similar word to apathy is indifference. Example, a student who does not care one way or the other if he passes a class is an example of a student who has apathy toward the class. The main symptom of apathy is a lack of motivation to do, complete, or accomplish anything. What is the root of apathy? Apathetic is an adjective that describes the feeling of being bored with what's going on around you. Pathos is a root word of apathetic, but the prefix a turns it into the opposite. Pathetic, emotional boredom, insensitivity, and a lack of enthusiasm. By definition, empathy is the opposite of apathy. Empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another within plus feeling, or inside plus suffering. Apathy is defined as a lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern, not plus feeling, or without plus suffering. The left lacks empathy for Trump and his family. What do you call someone who shows no emotion? Alexithymia. It's a personality construct characterized by the subclinical inability to identify and describe emotions experienced by oneself or others. In other words, you don't know what you're feeling, you don't know what anybody else is feeling. The core characteristic of alexithymia are marked dysfunction in emotional awareness, social attachment, and interpersonal relating. Wikipedia wrote that. What is apathy in a relationship? Apathy is the lack of feeling, the lack of passion, emotion, excitement, concern. Instead, they're detached and indifferent. Characteristics of the emotionalist emotion, as apathy is sometimes called. What is a synonym of apathy? Indifference, numbness, spiritlessness. Noun. The trait of lacking enthusiasm for or interest in things generally. Synonym. Flame, indifference, impassiveness, nonchalance, spiritlessness, unconcerned, numbness, emotionlessness, impassionedness, stolidity, unemotionality. Why is apathy a problem? Apathy is the single largest problem we face today because it is apathy that fuels the vast number of social, political, economic, and environmental problems facing society. Is it bad to be apathetic? It can cause you to become blind to consequences because you fail to process the ins and outs of your actions, because you see no reason not to. It can make your philosophy lazy, and you don't take responsibility for your action. What does dysphoric mean? Dysphoric. I never heard that word before. It's a state of mental discomfort or suffering. When you feel dysphoria, you feel depressed and awful. Euphoria is a state of joy or bliss. Dysphoria is the opposite. It's a state of unease, anxiety, and misery. The difference between apathy, sympathy, and empathy. They're all a manner of feeling. Apathy means there is a lack of feeling for something, a lack of caring, a lack of a need to make a change or influence. Sympathy is a feeling for someone who is going through a hard time, needing to be there for them and provide support. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Is there a disorder for having no emotions? Schizoid personality disorder is characterized by a long-standing pattern of detachment from social relationships. Individuals with schizoid personality disorder may have particular difficulty expressing anger, even in response to direct provocation, which contributes to the impression that they lack emotion. What do you call a person who doesn't care about anything? A pessimist. He always considers negative outcomes of a situation, whereas an optimist always considers the positive outcomes. What is a disengaged relationship? Detachment is defined as a tendency across time and situations to prefer to keep to oneself and to be alone. Clark, 1999. Individuals high on detachment tend to devalue social relationships, Clark, 1999, and would be expected to be disengaged from all social relationships. Social definition. 1. Relating to society or its organization. Example sentence. Alcoholism is recognized as a major social problem. Similar word. Communal, community. Second meaning. Needing companionship and therefore best suited to live in communities. Sentence. We are social beings as well as individuals. Noun. An informal social gathering, especially one organized by the members of a particular club or group. Example sentence. A church social. Similar word to social is party and gathering. Political definition. Adjective relating to the government or the public affairs of a country. A period of political and economic stability. Similar word. Governmental, government. Relating to the idea or strategies of a particular party or group in politics. Example sentence. A decision taken for purely political reasons. Similar word. Activist, active, militant. Interested in or active in politics. I'm not very political is the sample sentence they gave. Politics is the way that people living in groups make decisions. Politics is about making agreements between people so that they can live together in groups such as tribes, cities, or countries. The study of politics in university is called political science, political studies, or public administration. Now, back to Mark Levin and Charlie Kirk's discussion. When people have liberty, freedom, over a few generations, hierarchies are going to be created. Let's pretend, Mark, that there was enough money to compensate from all the billionaires. It still wouldn't be moral. It still wouldn't be correct. That would be a violation of a tenet of liberty. Note, the sun and his air have been providing light, heat, and energy for food to this earth for millions of years at a now cost of $30 septillion. Would it be moral, would it be correct to confiscate all the money from all the people to pay for what they have used and are going to use in future? Something to think about, right? Back to Charlie Kirk. In order for the billionaire to get rich, they had to trade voluntarily with others and make some of them rich along the way. Note, the son and his daughter, his heir, have no money, though they have given energy, light, and heat to the earth and its population for millions of years. Is it fair for the sources of life to be and go unpaid? Jesus Christ, Son of God, being as the saint in India, Charan Singh, said, "You could never repay your mother." The heir to the son, his daughter. T. Michelle Birdsong has being as Eve, mother of all living. You may not be able to pay Mother Eve in full for the energy she's provided, but you can try. You can pay her what you have. She can never be fully paid her worth. She can never receive total justice. But she would be happy knowing that she and her father, the Son, are respected, and what they provided you is very much recognized and appreciated, as shown by the not $30 septillion, but by a payment of $3 trillion and other world currencies and gold to show you care. Does that sound fair? Acceptable? I guess the President of the United States, Gobind Singh, now being as Donald Trump, and Prime Minister of India, Modi, should contact the heir of the sun to Michelle Birdsong and her brother, Jesus Christ, now being as RSSB head, Guru Gurinder Singh Dhillon, and make it happen. Back to Mark Levin and Charlie Kirk. Charlie was speaking. Then Mark said, "Very well said. You had the Scottish Enlightenment, the English Enlightenment, French Enlightenment, and the German Enlightenment, all within a couple hundred years. And this modern Marxism, call it what you will, is a throwback. Call it pre-Enlightenment. How much does it take to steal stuff from people? Note, have the people of the earth stolen the light, heat, and energy for food from the sun and his heir, now being T. Michelle Birdsong?" Mark says, "How much intelligence does it take to create these funny matrix? Free health care. Health care is a right. The sun and his heir have kept and plan to continue keeping the beings on earth healthy. Do they deserve to be paid? At least paid a token $3 trillion of the cost, $30 septillion. She plans to split, T. Michelle Birdsong plans to split her share 3 ways, $1 trillion each to herself and to her brothers. Jesus Christ, the Buddha, St. Nicholas, Santa Claus, St. Valentine, Royal Japanese Samurai Soldier, Louis Armstrong, who sang "What a Wonderful World," Nat King Cole, who sang "The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return." Jackie Wilson sang "To Be Loved." Oh, what a feeling to be loved. Ricky Nelson, who sang "I learned my lesson well. You can't please everyone. Try to please yourself." Dean Martin, who sang "Amore," love. Projected self as Paul Simon, who sang "Mother and Child Reunion" and "The Sound of Silence." Projection Jerry Butler, who sang "Your Precious Love means more to me than any love could ever mean. For when I wanted you, I was so lonely and so blue." Projection Sir Paul McCartney, who sang "Michelle, My Belle." Projection Bryan Adams, who sings "Shine a Light." Projection Frankie Valli, who sang "My Eyes Adore You." The Righteous Brothers, Bobby